And now it's saying that the broadcast is live. I think it was delayed. So I'm going to introduce myself again, and if not, you get twice the introduction, because I like talking to myself. So hi, everyone. Welcome to your virtual star party for the 10th of November 2013. I'm your host, Scott Lewis. Fraser is playing Dad for a birthday now that he's back in Canada. So if you've never seen our show before, what we do is we hook up telescopes and we stream their views live onto the internet for free to let the entire world know what's going on in the universe. And YouTube's live. Hi, YouTube. I'm hearing myself.
Yay.
So we have two telescopes today, or tonight, or it could be today, depending on where you're at. And I hear no loud noises from Stuart.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
I'm going to mute
I dropped my mouse. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Shut up. So with us tonight, David Dickinson from Florida. How you doing, David?
Hey, pretty good, pretty good. I'll be bringing the moon.
Bringing the moon with two cameras.
Yeah, wide and zoomed in this time. So
sweet.
I'll switch over to it.
For some further away objects, we have Roy Salisbury. How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. For the peanut gallery, color commentary, we have Stuart Foreman from the San Francisco area.
Hi.
So, Stu, I hear we might actually have you back to where we don't have to see your face anymore, right?
Hopefully, yeah, because I'm pretty ugly. But yeah, hopefully within 2 weeks I'll be back online again.
Awesome.
So we'll see. Because I know people have been really screaming for me. My focuser's been out, so it's in
people just won't shut up about
I know,
you.
I know.
They want more Foreman.
Yeah, I know. What can I say?
Well, you gotta represent the refractors.
Exactly. Well, we got a refractor here now, so
yeah.
It's Roy.
Well, I'm using my RC tonight.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my refractor up on my other mount yet.
Oh.
See what you're making us do? We're going through refractor withdrawals.
Yeah, well, I think Roy's going to have to explain what an RC is, though. So.
I think we can do that.
It.
Yeah.
That's fine. Also with us today, Tom. How you doing, Tom? We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, it's the first chance I've had to be back online for a while. I usually hang out in the peanut gallery, but my upload speeds have been slow.
Okay. Well, we'll figure something else to do about that. Whether doing some still images or something like that in the future. But it's good to have you back.
Hand gestures.
We are definitely known for our hand gestures here at the VSP, and they are G-rated, people.
Yes.
They are G-rated.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Nicole does the. Oops, sorry.
No, yeah, Nicole does the flocculants. So do I, though. But that's when we're talking about galaxies, and we'll get to those a little bit later. So for everything going on, I'm going to let you all know, our viewers, how you can get a hold of us. So the easiest way for me to hear from you is to be on YouTube. So we are broadcast live not only on Google+, but on YouTube. So please feel free to give a comment and subscribe to the channel, which is me. And we're working on getting everything transitioned. Also subscribe to Universe Today, which is Fraser Kane's channel. So we're either going to be live from my channel or from Fraser's as we go week to week to week. And we've been having a lot of fun with YouTube lately. So please comment on YouTube, also in the event page on Google+. Also, if you do have your own astrophotography you want to share with us during the show, please do. You can do that actually in the event page on Google+. Make sure it's your own, though, because if it's not, I will remove it because I'm a jerk like that. So, but we want to see what you're doing because it's really awesome to be able to work with the astronomers here live in the show and also see what you're able to do across the world as we're going. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will be watching for comments because it looks like there's a ton of comments going on. David, what are we looking at?
That is the waxing gibbous moon. It just passed first quarter yesterday, and it's actually, we got a nice profile with the lunar highlands and the lunar Apennines, and you can see a lot of good profile with craters and stuff like that. Incidentally, this is a Microsoft Live Cam webcam, just afocally aimed at the telescope eyepiece. It's not hooked directly into the telescope. I'll switch over to the webcam on the laptop probably in a bit so you can actually see the setup here. But I was just experimenting with this tonight,
It's a lot of fun, that cam for doing a night focal setup.
I'm surprised the image it gives. I mean, it's got a little bit of a glare on it there. I put a polarizer on the end of the eyepiece because I realized I don't have the webcam controls here in Google Plus, so I can't dim the camera or do any of the things I could if I had just the camera software running.
Are you running on PC or Windows
PC.
or Mac?
It's a PC.
Okay, there is, if you can get the LifeCam software, and it will run concurrently with the Google Plus Hangout, and you can change all your settings live as you're doing it. And that's
because I can do that with my other webcam that I'm going to hook up here in a moment. That I zoom in because I keep the software running, so I can.
Yeah.
What I did, since I didn't have time starting this to fiddle with it, I just plopped a polarizer. I got a variable polarizer on the end of it to kind of dim it down. To cut the glare, but right now it's fixed. I can't zoom it in or anything. But there's a little bit of cloud cover here too. That's what I think giving that little bit of glare on the limb of the moon there too. And we've got moisture and fog, and it's just Florida.
Yeah, I was saying you're in Florida.
It's crappy for astronomy here. That's
why
you
might as well just put it underwater and just shoot it.
That's why there's no major observatories here. There's a few at the universities, but it's a terrible place to do astronomy.
Well, and also I want to mention real quick too, we are using the Q&A app on Google Plus too. So that is another way that you can ask questions. I will try to get to them. And actually there is one right here that we do want to address before we go further, because David actually talked about it on Friday. And it goes, let me see if I can select it and pop it up here.
Gochi, let me guess.
Gochi, yep. Where is the satellite? I was hoping to hear from that.
We were tracking it earlier tonight. There was a pass over the U.S., a shadow pass. Unfortunately, everybody I heard that was watching didn't see a re-entry then. It may be down already. I think it's already down. ESA hasn't confirmed it yet. NORAD hasn't confirmed it. I was watching on SpaceTrack and refreshing on SpaceTrack to see if NORAD sent out a confirmation decay message, but in all likelihood it's re-entered. It may be a day or two before we know exactly where. Unless there's something that pops up where somebody says that some video footage surfaces or anything like that. But
I know where it's not.
Well, a lot of the Earth is just uninhabited, so these re-entering satellites, a lot of times they just splash down where nobody sees them. But it's once they stop, it was tracking data right up until re-entry too. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
See, no one knows except for the NSA. The NSA always knows.
Yeah, well, they know, of course. But yeah, in things you see around Twitter, we were starting to see, like, if you see old mirror footage or scenes from Armageddon or scenes from the Chelyabinsk meteor, people always start tweeting out stuff like that during these re-entries, and it's like, we obviously know they're fake because we've all seen those photos before.
Yeah, this is not our first rodeo with re-entries, so please stop putting Bruce Willis all over Twitter. It's not going to help. And there was another re-entry going on, so let's get both of these going for the Soyuz. Multiple comments everywhere. So
Soyuz is coming home too. The population in space is decreasing by 3 tonight, from 9 down to 6. So there's expedition crew members. They're probably down by now. I'm not tracking it anymore, but they probably re-entered they probably landed out in Kazakhstan just a few hours ago, or a few minutes ago.
So welcome back, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one with the torch, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Olympic torch is coming back. It's Luca Parmitano, Karen Nyberg, and I don't know the Russian cosmonaut's name off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me right now, but
why not? You're supposed to be prepared, David, for anything.
Well, Karen Nyberg is the first quilter in space that I'm aware of.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to go for that. I was going to be the first quilter in space.
You can be the first needle pointer.
I am saying I can cross-stitch. Let's cross-stitch in space. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to move on over to Roy real quick, and we'll hit the moon throughout the rest of the night. So what do we have here today, Roy?
You have M57, the Ring Nebula, in all its beautiful color.
She's so pretty.
Yes.
What camera are you using, Roy?
I am using my STT 8300. It's a monochrome, but I have figured out how to do the automated tricolor imaging within my software. So yeah, I take one. These were individual 120-second images that automatically got stacked.
Oh, using what software?
Maxim.
Oh, okay.
You need to post how you do that.
What's that?
You need to post how you do that. I have a ST8 camera with a filter wheel on it, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do the auto stacking.
Oh yeah, it's one click button in Maxim. It just, when you take the picture, it'll automatically take the red, the green, the blue, combine them together, and give you a color picture. You don't have to do anything.
So,
oh wow!
We'll have me as a bald astronomer, Tom as a soggy astronomer, and Roy as the pampered astronomer.
There we go.
Roy, does it auto register and auto?
Yep.
Huh.
I have all my calibration groups set up so it automatically calibrates, and I mean, it's only one image of each filter, but
nevertheless.
At least
anyway, M57. This is a planetary nebula. So this was a nova that blew.
No, it's not.
What?
It's planetary. No, they're not novas.
It's not. It's not a supernova, but it was a nova.
No, planetary nebulae happen after the red giant stage, and as things go into a white dwarf. I'm sorry, Stu. I'm totally going to school you.
Okay, it's fine.
Because I'm a jerk.
You are.
But this is something that our son actually might be able to do, depending on the mass and the lifetime. So as it goes through its final stages and it goes into a white dwarf stage where everything shrinks on down, it's not able to actually hold the rest of its matter in it, so it actually starts puffing and sloughing out into space.
Well, you're talking as if you're like going to school or something.
I've done a couple things in astronomy here and there. I might have taught a class or two at the college.
You can see the pseudo central star in there. I remember Thad saying that's not truly the white dwarf.
But it's easy to imagine that it is, but that's actually not the star. So I don't know if you can zoom in there, Roy, at all from what we're talking about. But there is a center of mass that's going on, and that little dot here in the center is not its center of mass, but it's convenient, and it's easy to think that it is. But so where its reticule is right there, that's not the white dwarf in question. But what we're seeing is actually this spherical, sloughing of gas, and it's actually being excited because there's still a lot of energy being output from that central star, which is causing that gas to actually glow.
I think you got a galaxy I can see up there, kind of in my upper right there. Yeah, I think there's
up here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I remember there's one by M57. There's an NGC galaxy in that region too. Just line of sight, but yeah, I always tell people at star parties this looks like a ghost of a donut. I said because it looks in the eyepiece when you're seeing it, you don't see these colors. You just see kind of a gray ring.
So is that what happens when Homer eats donuts? You see the ghost of a donut?
I would say look for a tiny smoke ring, like a ghost of a donut kind of sitting there.
And they're tiny. They're super tiny.
Oh yeah, this one is really small. It's even with the focal length that I've got. I mean, I've got to enlarge it just to see it, or embiggen it.
Embiggen. That's how we do things here. Embiggen things.
Charles Messier, when he first compiled the catalog of deep sky objects, he had no idea what they were seeing, and the reason they call these planetary nebulas visually through a telescope, they look like the disk of a planet. They actually don't have anything to do with planets.
Nothing at all. Right.
Other than
they tend to be bluish too.
Yeah.
So
I think it looks like an eyeball.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things to find when I'm at school star parties, because this is even before I had a go-to scope. I mean, this is really easy to find if you just it's right exactly in between two stars in the constellation of Lara, and if you teach people how to do averted vision when you're doing the when they're looking through the eyepiece, and then all of a sudden they'll say, "Oh yeah, I kind of see the ring now," and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not colored.
If you know where
like
Vega
this,
is, if you know where Vega is, you can find this easily.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you.
One of the brightest stars up there.
Yeah.
So which constellation are we looking in right now?
Lyra.
Lyra. So a quick reminder too, when we're talking about constellations, we're not necessarily talking about Orion the Hunter or these anthropomorphized. They're actually, for astronomers, we're talking about sections of the sky that are up there, and they're divided up to help aim what we're looking for. And we have a Mike Phillips that's joining. I'm glad he said not never, but maybe late. Let's see if he actually play with us tonight.
He's trying to get in.
Yeah, he's trying to. I see him. He just IM'd me. I like how he joined, and then he asked me if there was any room for him. So yes, yes, there is.
Go away, Mike.
When he gets in, everybody be real quiet and pretend we can't hear him.
His text is now coming on all my various devices that are sitting around me.
My
iPad,
everything's
my
lighting
iPhone.
up.
Yeah, it's like
Everything's lighting up.
Incessant.
Yeah, so Google owns everything we do now, which I'm pretty okay with. Google's done a lot of good for me, so I'm happy with that. And I'm seeing, hearing that the parachute's deployed and they are drifting under chute power at the moment.
Ooh, yay,
so,
yeah.
One awesome thing with the Soyuz is that they do drift under parachute until 3 meters from the surface?
I think so. Then they fire
Something
a
like
retro.
that, yeah.
Then they fire a retro rocket to
they-
welcome home.
They hit hard. They still hit very hard. They say it's like a 40-mile-an-hour car crash when they hit, basically. So
Ouch.
It's
I think-
2013, Russia. It's 2013. We have better ways of doing this.
I think
But big springs.
I think the recovery crew should all wear ape suits when they land. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm going to head back over to and see what, once Mike actually joins us instead of just his avatar. So we'll get back to the moon. And so you said, and actually you can see some of the clouds coming through as well.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of cloud cover here, just very light. Yeah,
It's very spooky.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, I can see that. Actually, it's kind of cool with that, with contrast. Ooh, yeah, we're getting clouds from the south. I hope I don't get clouded out.
Better not get clouded out.
Yeah, because the moon is all I can do with this setup. So, but we'll see.
I can point out the.
Yeah,
we
go
can
ahead,
point out the Apollo 11 landing site for folks.
Yeah, I think it's right about. I think we're centered almost on it in that. I can't really zoom in with this setup, but it is visible.
Yeah, that little bright dot just off of left to center.
Yeah, if I can right about that dark patch that's in the center of the field now, I kind of tweaked it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's no other way that I can really. When I get the other webcam in and it zooms in, I can kind of spool around through there. But
And we just got an update here from Ciro Villa that Soyuz has touched down successfully.
yay!
Yay! Thank you, Ciro. And Mike left.
Yeah, I was reading Spaceflight 101, and they say that the Goshi has re-entered the atmosphere, but they don't know where it's at.
Oh, cool.
Maybe it speared Soyuz.
This is probably later tonight. NORAD will have a decay message out, and then it will kind of trickle through the rest of the internet eventually.
So I'm going through here, and we're actually getting a message here from Shah, one of our astronomers in Malaysia, and apparently some really good sunspots going on, really nice and big, but there's really big clouds in the way too. So, Shah, if you're watching, please, if you can snag a shot and at least put it in the event page, that'd be awesome. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
The sun has been very active finally, which we're at solar max, so it's supposed to be active. It's been kind of weird that it's been very inactive this year, but
it's a late bloomer. Okay, some of us are late bloomers. Don't judge. But no, especially was it Nancy reported on that on the weekly Space Hangout, and yeah, it's finally coming along.
Yeah, we had a few X flares earlier this week, so
I'm really excited to see what's going on, especially with the aurora that come from it. 'Cause this is the time to go up and see them. So if anyone's living in the higher north and also further south, get ready for some good auroras going on because they're absolutely beautiful. And if they do come in if the solar wind does come our way a little bit stronger than usual, you'll actually get to see a spectacular show.
Yeah.
Have you seen any, David?
When I lived in Alaska, I used to see them all the time in the winter time. Of course,
when you lived in Alaska.
It was daylight. I grew up in Maine, used to see them fairly frequently there, but Alaska, they were common enough to be a nuisance when you were doing deep sky photography. It's like, darn, there's aurora again. It would wash out your
world
images.
astronomer problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but a really awesome aurora show is it's right up there with the solar eclipses, or a good meteor shower. It's probably one of the most awesome things you can see when they're really active and they're like you can see them moving and you get the reds and the blues and the greens. Mm-hmm. It's just awesome.
I've only seen it live once, and it was 11 years ago. So the last Solar Max I went through, and this is back when I was back in Michigan. And I was in the Detroit area, so you really don't get to see much. But they were so strong that I could actually see them from Detroit, and it was amazing. It's something you never thought you'd ever be able to see the auroras from such
It's really eerie to see, to just stand out there and watch. It's because it almost looks like something really. You get the sense of these really massive curtains up overhead. It's kind of awesome to watch.
Yeah, something ominous is happening, especially when you're in an area that you're not used to seeing something like that. Just like was a few months ago, people here in LA for the first time actually saw the Milky Way without any optics. They just were able to look up and see the Milky Way. It was and people were freaking out, like, what is this thing? There's this big band in the sky.
During the 1859 Carrington Super Flare event, there were actually aurora as far as south as Puerto Rico. Wow. And a lot of people thought there were forest fires and things like that because they had never seen that sort of thing.
Good Lord.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This is I was saying, this is a camera hookup to this telescope right now. It's just the webcam literally aimed at the eyepiece, and the telescope's aimed at the moon. So, and I've got this bracket here just kind of hooked onto it. So
I really think you should experiment with that. I'm not going to tell you to break your webcam.
No.
I'm not going to tell you to do that. But
tear it apart. I'm wondering what it will do aimed at Jupiter now. It might get some fairly. You might be able to see the moons and Jupiter in the same field, like a wider field view.
The software that comes with it, you are able to tweak a lot of the settings on there to get things out quite nice. So, and especially if you can, when I was doing the Venus transit, I just made a makeshift eyepiece for it to sit in there Afocally and just get it all set up. So all I had to do was just grab it and put it into the scope, and having that ready to go is awesome. So then you're just set to go anytime you need to hook it up. So
I have a white light filter for this scope too, so it should do the sun as well.
Yeah. I've done some shots with the sun on my binoculars. Actually, hooked it up to that, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to keep going through the comments and head back over to Roy. Oh wow, Roy. I don't like you today because I love what you're doing. That is amazing.
There is another planetary nebula. Mm-hmm. This is M27. Wow. Now this one, apart from the last one where we said the central star was not visible, this one it is. So there's the blue.
Yeah.
Right there.
So this is the Apple Core or Omega Nebula, and I love the contrasted colors. That's one of my favorites.
Is this another? This is obviously stacked. Is this another 8-minute exposure? 246?
No, these are 2 minutes per filter.
RGB. I mean, so that's. Did you have luminance in this, or just RGB?
No, just RGB.
Cool.
Hey, Roy, is the helix a little too far south for you?
It is. The helix is just too low.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get it so bad, and it's too low. Needed it about a month or so ago.
What's the focal length on your scope?
This scope is 1326.
Oh, okay.
I have it's a 10-inch RC that native is 2000. Then I have a focal reducer in it that gets me down to an f5.4 and brings it down to about 1300.
Which RC is it?
This is the Astrotech.
Oh, that one, yeah.
The 10-inch Astrotech. It's a really nice scope. It took forever for me to figure out the collimation on it to get the mirrors perfectly aligned, but and I still think I'm off by a little bit, but I'm not going to touch it anymore.
So I've got a question here from the Google Plus event page. Let me hold it up here. So Ronald Minch asks a question on magnitude. Explain it with a telescope and without, as in the Ring Nebula magnitude and Comet Ison at 6.1. So he's got some binoculars, and he was wondering, when we're talking about magnitude as far as with when you're talking about light, what does that mean?
I can take a stab at that.
Stab it.
Yeah, stab it. So the lower the number, the more bright things are, and so the sun is like a magnitude negative. What is it?
27, I think.
27. And it's logarithmic, so it's like negative 27, and then Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky, is like negative negative 1 point something or other. Venus at its brightest is a little bit more negative than that, so negative 2 or negative 1 point something, 1.8. And so when we say the limit of visual magnitude, if you're in a really dark sky and you're looking up and your eyes are completely accommodated, your visual magnitude that you can usually see with good eyes is about 9 or 10. 6 is still pretty dim. And if you're in any sort of light polluted skies and you're trying to look up and see something small with a magnitude of 6, it's going to be a little bit harder to see it. Most of the stars you look up in the sky, kind of the dimmer ones, are usually magnitude 2 or 3. Is that about right?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I'd say so.
One caveat I would give about when you're talking about planetary nebula or comets or things like that is that magnitude is spread out over the surface area, whereas a star you're looking at a point source. Usually I think of something being binocular range when it's above 10th magnitude, but in the case of like Comet Ison, it's just becoming binocular range right now, and it's about 8th magnitude because that brightness is spread out over a surface area, so it makes it a little more difficult to see.
The one that I've got up there, M27, that's a magnitude of 7.5.
Yeah.
Right, and that you can't really see with the naked eye. First of all, it's too small, and so you really would need binoculars or a small scope to see.
I can pick out M27 with the image stabilized binoculars under pretty dark skies. As you can see, it's a little fuzzy smudge.
Right.
Fuzzy smudge.
Yeah. I can barely see the Crab Nebula under good skies with binoculars, so, and that's a little tougher.
Now Mike is here. Mike, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can. Do you have a telescope, too?
You have a telescope, Mike?
I do, and I got the guiding set up. I'm having issues with my mount that I need to fix, but it has been stable enough for a couple of nights now, and I'm going to show you this boring star field, and then I'm going to go to yesterday's, or 2 nights ago's data. So in this star field is a near-Earth asteroid. What are they? NEOs or near-Earth objects, right? It is actually something Peter Lake had found. It is 2013 TV135.
Oh, very cool.
And I barely got it. It's somewhere in this field of view here, so I'm going to tool
somewhere
around.
In all the little dots, there's another dot.
There's another
not
dot
a dot that you would normally see in the field of dots.
Right. So
Did you put a laser pointer on that?
Yeah, it's right here somewhere.
That's the witch's broom.
Yeah, so let me fool around with it. So that was that blank boring starfield was one I just captured now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that HA?
No, straight up luminosity, and they're all 5-minute subs. Now, the calculation from the Minor Planet Center, I think it's around magnitude 18 right now. So it's, in a 5-minute sub in luminosity, it's just barely visible with my kind of shaky tracking right now. So I'm going to see if I can find where it was here.
Scott, I'm going to flip over cameras right now, so I'm going to mute for a moment.
You say your shaking is tracky, but your tracking is shaky rather. But your stars are looking pretty round for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's well. Let me see if I zoom in a little bit.
I'm sure if you zoom in, you'll see some tracking error. But at least with, you've got a wide field of view. It's certainly not obvious. You should be proud of that image for just a 5-minute image.
Yeah. You're right. I probably should. I'd like better. A magnitude 18 is certainly way down on the scale, right?
More better, please. More better.
Well, can you stretch it a little bit and bring out some of the wispiness?
Well, so the only way I was able to see it actually was to use this program called Astrometrica, which is actually something that Peter has used to analyze like professional data and find some other asteroids of various types. I can't even tell which kinds are which. And so I tried my hand at it just to see if it was any use for me, and it's got this neat feature here. You can see little satellites streaking through these a lot. Holy cow. So it helped me because it creates this animation kind of on the fly. So I take all the subs as they come in, and you can see there's a satellite there, and then there's a couple more as it rolls through this animation here. But it helped me see the motion. It was the only way for me to see it. I knew where it should be, but I couldn't actually see it because it blends almost into the background stars.
Right. Yeah.
But it popped out when I turned this little animation on. I just got to find out where it was now.
I was looking at Roy's.
And actually, while we're doing that, I'm going to switch over and share something that Bill McLaughlin, one of our regular astronomers, he's clouded out right now, but he did share an amazing photo. Let me pull this up here. I just think this is gorgeous. So this is up on the event page. So if any of you guys are watching us from Google+, go ahead and check that out. But just, Bill, we need you back too.
What is this an image of? I see that he's got 31 hours of exposure time, but
trying to see.
Is this the ghost? No.
Bill, I know you can hear us. Comment on your photo.
VDB9. What the heck is that?
Vandenberg or something. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Oh, Thad's here.
Thad.
Yep, Thad just texted me, so he should be.
Now he can tell us what this is.
Yeah, and now
all right, Thad. No pressure. No pressure, Thad. Are you there? I know he was just at a concert, so he might be deaf. He might not be able to hear us.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll wait. So, but yeah, this image here, I mean, Bill did a phenomenal job looking at, this. Whoops, let me go ahead and go back. There we go. The dust lanes going on, just occluding the light coming through.
Amazing.
We're trying to figure out what it is. Thad, do you know? He doesn't know.
I think Thad dropped out.
All right, cameras are swapped out.
But yeah, this is
VDB9. Let me look it up.
You should look that up.
These are all going to be dark nebulas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole catalog is for the VDB is all dark nebulas.
So VD is for very dark, right? Is that what that stands for?
Must be. No, it's Vandenberg or I don't know, something like that.
I've never heard of that.
It's in the constipation. I'm just looking.
The constipation.
It's in the constipation of Cassiopeia.
You've been giving too many colonoscopies.
Yeah, he hasn't switched from his day job yet.
And it's just a 2 reflection nebula, and it's VD. It doesn't have a name. It's just VDB9. Is what it is.
Well, I'm going to name it Purdy in the name of Bill, because that was amazing, Bill. Thank you for sharing that in there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm going to head on back over to Roy. Oh, wait. No, I'm going to David.
There.
Look at the moon.
There's a lot of cool shadows there right now with those mountains. I think I see a monolith right there in the center. So.
Okay, I think I found it when you're ready.
It's the Moonanites. They built those, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, you definitely. It's always good to look at the moon right around first quarter, going on to waxing gibbous or so, because you get a nice contrast with the shadows. You can see where the sun is just rising in the floors of those craters where they're still in shadow, and it gives a lot. I always like looking at the moon right around this time. This is right around the lunar Apennines, right on Mare Imbrium area, right on the edge.
It's funny how sunrise and sunset, can be special on one planet, but unique on another planet too, from a different perspective across the stars.
Well, and it really gives you an appreciation of the topography that's going on there. It's not just this silver disc up in the sky, but it's got a lot of the peaks and valleys. You can see the force that went into causing all these craters to how deep they go, just based on the angle of light.
I am getting some clouds too, so I'll try to ride the contrast back and forth to keep adjusting for.
Just ride that contrast, Dave.
You gotta take the weather when it comes,
Yeah.
I think I've tracked this thing down. If you want to help you guys help me, because the program itself is supposed to do motion tracking, and it did not find this little guy. I found it basically looking at the ephemeris plots in a stellarium package. So it follows this path right here. If you can see my arrow, it kind of shoots this little gap of stars here. Now it's right here. I'm going to chase it as best I can here. It starts back up there, and it's moving this way, just above my arrow.
I do see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is 2013 TV135.
You said Peter found that?
Well, Peter photographed it, and I found it in his stream.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much ever since Pamela and I did a really early star party, I don't think it got archived into YouTube, but we shot Eros. I think it was the asteroid. It was one of the first asteroids that helped plot the asteroid belt or something like. It was a famous asteroid in history, and it comes around every so often. So I was shooting that with my digital SLR on the same telescope I'm using for this.
Right.
And I was like, this is cool. I like asteroids, right? So now I've been kind of on an asteroid kick lately, and I saw Peter posted this one. I don't think he used his telescope for it. I think he was using the OSIRIS-REx data. And I said, I want to put this on my list of things to photograph. And a couple of nights ago, it was clear and the moon had set, so I took my hand at it. I'm trying it again now to see if I can maybe clean up some of these oblong stars, maybe make this a little more defined so that it's easily picked up. And I think the Minor Planet Center was actually requesting data for this.
Oh, nice.
They're trying to pin its orbit down.
Yeah, that is a high interest object. That was the one that they thought, I think it was 30 or 40 years from now, there was a slim chance that it might impact.
Right. It was ranked what, 1 on the something scale?
For a very brief time on the Torino scale, yeah. But once we refine these orbits, usually that clears, that lowers the probability quite a bit.
Mm.
And it's Thad. Can you hear us, Thad?
So you guys see it.
Can you speak to us, Thad? Can you use your words?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yay. The celebrities are here.
Speaks.
You guys were looking good on some of the photo shoots we saw. I can't wait for the final product.
And you survived the concert. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, concert was.
Don't even talk about it right now.
Okay.
I'm angry at you about that.
What did you see?
9 Inch Nails.
Oh yeah, I heard they're
cool.
great. Yeah.
Oh, they're amazing live. I'm really jealous. And real quick, thank you to Apollo is Go on YouTube. So it stands, the VDB stands for Sydney Vandenberg. Is a well-known Dutch-Canadian astronomer, and the VDB catalog is of dark nebulae, or you can call it the Very Dark Blob catalog.
I've never heard of that. That's kind of cool. I learned something. Never heard of that catalog.
So thank you, Apollo is Go. You are awesome. And so the whole convergence of YouTube and Google Plus isn't that bad, right? We learn things from each other. We can get along, and it's not that bad. I promise. Well, it could be that bad. You know, YouTube comments are notorious. But I won't judge. Be nice to us, and we'll be fine. So I'm going to... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, actually, part of the reason I was late is that I assigned, my students to make these sketches of the moon through the telescope, and I just realized I'm not sure if I had ever done it. So I had the 25 by 100 binoculars out in the front yard.
Oh, very cool.
Was kind of sketching away to get a feel for, well, how much detail can they get in the time out there if they're good about it? And yeah, okay, I think if they can probably get a good 30 or so features sketched in that time. So.
Well, let's see your sketch.
Yeah.
Let me. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I gotta run and get it.
It's actually hard. Yeah, I've tried.
It is really hard.
It's harder than you think.
All right. I'll be right back. Give me a second here.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
draw a circle with a bunch of little
blobs.
Mickey Mouse's,
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not one of those psychology tests. Come on, guys.
Let's see Roy's Western Veil. I want to see that.
Oh, there we go, Roy. Oh wow, I love it. So how long? This was what? 5 minutes?
This was 3 minutes hydrogen alpha.
Yeah, this looks like an HA. This is what I thought. This was when I was talking about the Western Veil, and when Mike was up. I thought I just had the wrong screen. This is what I was looking at.
That's wonderful. So we're watching just a tiny part of a supernova remnant. So, well, 5,000 years ago, I want to say it was when the supernova went off. And if we could actually zoom out, which you just need to take many, many photos to do, you can actually see the full spread of what happened here. And we're just seeing one tiny part of this remnant of a supernova. And you can just see the wisp and the tendrils going on.
It looks really good when you get the narrowband images. I mean, to make it in color or false color, it looks just spectacular.
Now, are you able to get we're looking at the Western Veil, right?
This is
It's a Western.
Could you get the Eastern Veil in as well?
I can. I'll put it on the list as soon as this one's finished.
Yeah, that would be great. I love seeing the Eastern Veil as well, so we can see different parts of this enormous object in the sky.
I kind of like my wife's idea when I ran to get this. She was like, "Well, you should just post a picture of the moon and see if they
notice."
Yeah, put it through Instagram and do like the little sketch thing on it. Like, see, this is what I did. I know what's your problem, guys.
I'm aimed right on the edge of the Sea of Tranquility right now.
Oh, very good.
I know I can see that doublet of craters there is Sabine crater, so I know that's very close to the Apollo 11 landing sites, probably right below that.
Scott, can you see my Western Veil there? This is an old image that I did. I don't know if I'm screen sharing it right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you are. Oh,
yeah,
that looks great.
So this is the same thing. This is 45 minutes. This is 45 minutes of hydrogen alpha, not just 5.
Cool.
And
moon
so you can
sketch.
see what you have with the data.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna head over to Thad too. Take a look at it.
It's I think that's the first sketch we've ever had in a virtual star party.
Yes, I think so too.
This is old school screen sharing. Here you go.
We should have an all sketching virtual star party.
We should. We do it old school.
He's like, oh wait.
But for audio, we need a telegraph.
There's an observing group or something that does nothing but sketches, and I mean, you have to sketch everything.
There is an astronomy sketch of the day, just like astronomy photo of the day.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The very first star party that I had went to, a guy was there and had this huge Dobsonian, and he had a book. I mean, it must have had 50 or 60 pages in it of all the different sketches he'd done of globular clusters.
It's very difficult. I've sketched Mars during opposition, and it's more difficult than people think.
Yeah, I know one thing that I kind of screwed up is that I did some along the Terminator, and then I kind of started with let's see, also up with the Apennines and Mare Frigoris and whatnot up here, and then trying to fill in through Mare Serenitatis and Crisium and Tranquillitatis, and they don't match when you get down to the bottom. So. But yeah, it is pretty tricky.
Scale is off a little bit.
Scale gets off a little bit. I think I also tried coming in with Tycho. That's in shadow. It's right on the Terminator, and trying also to come up from the bottom a little bit. And somewhere at the bottom of Mare Fecunditatis, things don't line up too well.
Well, Michael Fields Jr. comments on here about sketching. Says draw a sphere and then divide it into 8s. Then another circle at the halfway point, and it makes it easier to sketch the moon that way.
Sketching visually, you actually see more at the eyepiece. The more you start sketching, you start seeing a lot of detail that you probably wouldn't see at a cursory glance too. So it has its uses.
Well, even sketching is still used on the solar towers up at Mount Wilson. So every single day they do a brand new sketch. They've been doing them for as long as they've been up there.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's awesome going up there and watching them do the sketch. It's so cool. So they have this enormous, 150 tower?
Yeah, the UCLA runs the 150-foot solar tower up there. So.
And it's great going up there and watching them. They have this big stack of sketches of the sun that they do every single day.
And then you can animate by flipping pages.
Look, and they do. You can actually see the movement of the sunspots going across, which is really cool.
But yeah, that's why I make my students do it. I mean, because I teach 3 observational astronomy labs, and you are forced to pay more attention to detail if you have to draw what you are looking at. And some people are like, well, I can't draw really well. Get with the overall rough shading. You can see there's dark areas, light areas. If you can get kind of a rough shape, each of one of those dark areas is a Maria or a Mare. If you can name 10 of them, good, you get full credit. Great. So, you can draw, you can find, because we usually do it after, we're pretty well into waxing gibbous. There's Copernicus, there's Tycho, there's Kepler, and 7 Mare or Maria, and okay, good, you're done. So, more than that is extra credit.
More than that's extra credit. You heard it here, folks. Get your extra credit and send your sketches to Thad. Extra credit in life.
That's a pretty cool way to teach people, how to do observational things. Right? I mean, you're really getting them to learn some skills about paying attention.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. I tell them the more that you can look through a telescope and record what you see, the happier you will be, the higher your grade will be.
Right. So. Well, one of my first astronomy classes I took, it was actually during the day, and we had to go out and observe, and so we put a bunch of white light filters on some C6s, and we sketched the sun. And then we went out a week later, so we could actually watch the sunspots move from week to week and seeing how that was going. That was really cool. It gives you the idea that everything's rotating, and it's not just us, and there's movement going on, this big hot ball. that it was that first time when it sunk in that there's more movement to the sun than just rising and setting because of our movement, but
Right.
there's these complex systems going on, and that's when I really started loving solar dynamics and helioseismology. I love helioseismology.
The sun's cool because things actually change there.
Yeah,
like almost hour to hour sometimes.
Yeah, that was my imitation of a sunquake, by the way.
Oh, wait, let's see it. Let me see your sunquake.
So, okay.
And
So we got a P mode, we've got an S mode going. Well, actually, no, we wouldn't have any S modes. Never mind, right? Because it's not a solid.
Nope.
So P modes you get, yes, but no S modes because it's not solid. So
depends on how much fear you have.
NGC 893, right, Roy?
891.
So this is the photo you just shared because you showed this us last week and you put up your finished product. Is it a little bit? Was it earlier today?
Yeah, this is a on-the-fly image of 2 minutes for each filter. Basically, what I did last weekend, right at the end of the Star Party, and I said I was going to take the entire week and do nothing but this image. So I spent the entire week doing that. So that's what you get for 4 minutes. And a really quick,
wow.
Yeah.
and a really quick process, and this is what you get for 21 hours.
I can't wait.
I know.
Drum roll.
That's very.
Oh wow.
That's
Holy
amazing.
cow.
You can see the dust lanes and everything through there.
This is
That's unbelievable.
This is 7 hours on each channel.
Jeez, man. I need to move to the
LRGB.
desert.
Yeah, this is just RGB. I didn't even do luminance.
Really?
Why not?
Yep, no luminance.
Holy snap.
I didn't have
Do you
time.
really need it? I mean, look at that.
No. Was this bin one by one or?
Yep, all one by one.
Awesome.
That is
I don't really bin anything
That
except
is
for in the
gorgeous.
VSP here, so make it faster.
Right.
That is really gorgeous.
I counted in the full frame of this because this is a little bit cropped, so I could take. I mean, because it's a small object, so I counted in the uncropped version about 8 or 9 other galaxies.
Could you put your full image up into the event page after we're done? I want to see the uncropped version.
Yeah.
To be able to play with. That would be wonderful.
I did a version of this once, and this is last year after Roy showed this image, and I counted, I think it was like 37 galaxies in the field of view.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
it's just it's just amazing. How
In this one here, you can see there's one right down here underneath the galaxy. There's one over here on the left. There's another one on the left. There's, if you go up top, where is it? I saw one up here. And now I can't find it. I saw it a minute ago.
You lost an entire galaxy, Roy.
I lost a galaxy.
You better find that marble.
I got more galaxies than you did.
Oh, there it is. It's right there.
I've stumbled on some really galactic-rich areas of the sky before, and like once you start counting beyond like 3 or 4, you're like, this is just amazing that there's many galaxies out there, right?
I can show you what the uncropped version looks like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, you think about it, you have hundreds of billions of stars in that one little part of your image, and then you're seeing multiples of them all over the place. It's just you can't count that high even trying to estimate. Trying to grasp that is so difficult. You just end up doing in scientific notation and it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, this was my dissertation was on putting together a catalog of galaxy clusters, and so over about a quarter of the sky. I've been revising it, but over about a quarter of the sky, there are more than 40,000 clusters of galaxies between redshift 0.05 and redshift about 0.6.
So what do you mean by that, by 0.05 and 0.6 for redshift?
The problem here is trying to tell distance involving things with general relativity. If we look at co-moving distances and our current understanding of dark matter, dark energy, etc., you're looking from about 700 million to about 9 billion light years out.
Okay.
Co-moving distance. So it's not all the way. It's not even. You're still in the realm where dark energy kicked in part of that that volume of space. but still, okay, fine, let's count stars in a galaxy, let's count galaxies in a cluster, and then when you get to numbers of clusters, you're talking tens of thousands, and that's over a quarter of the sky, so you go over the whole sky, hundreds of thousands of clusters of galaxies.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Oh, and here's Stuart's.
Yeah, so this was mine. This is back when I had my digital SLR, and this is the one where I counted something like 37 galaxies in this field of view. It's not quite as sharp and as nice as Roy's, obviously, but I was actually very pleased with it at the time. Just because it's like, wow, look how many galaxies you can just see in just my, that little field of view. It just blew me away.
Right.
And I know how they are, but it still blew me away.
So I think what I'm going to start doing for you guys, because I'm a sadist, but also because I love what you guys do, is like have an object or an area of the sky of a month, so you guys can put together your biggest, longest exposure to find just a great field. And
Roy
to
wins.
share it.
Actually, I was actually gonna bring that up and say, I didn't even think of doing this image until last Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, it would be great if somebody could give me an object to do for the week, and if the weather's good, I'd do it.
I think so. Everyone listening, watching, please leave a comment. What do you want Roy to image? That's up, at night for him. Don't pick stuff in the southern hemisphere because you're going to just get a long exposure of the ground. It doesn't work that way. So try to think of something that's going to be up in the northern hemisphere at this time of year, and leave your comments on YouTube in the event page, and we'll find something for Roy to image and get some really good.
Yeah, and I could do it. I mean, Roy's got his RC, and I've got my refractor, and we, they're different focal lengths, and
yeah.
I think that would be great to see the difference too, and what they
see the difference. I mean, I don't get as much time because I don't have a remote observatory. I can't just push a button and go to bed like he does.
Well, you could, but it's not going to do much for you.
No.
But no, so that'd be great. So everyone out there watching on YouTube and Google Plus, everything like that, please give us some suggestions. We'd love to turn this into a semi-regular thing, and so we can do about getting some really good, long, deep exposures.
Right.
This time of year, the weather's usually pretty good, and it's cold enough, so it's really still. The seeing is really good, so.
And sometimes you can even combine exposures from different astronomers. Corey Schmidt and I worked on one on the Eastern Veil, and I provided the luminance data, and he did the RGB data, and it actually came out pretty well. Corey processed it in PixInsight, and it was kind of cool to see, see it all together.
Yeah, I've never tried doing that from other cameras, but I've seen people do it, and it works pretty good.
I mean, the nice thing with deep sky is you have no worries about parallax or getting a possible shift in. Oh wait, I'm viewing it from this angle.
Right, exactly.
It's freaking hundreds, thousands, millions of light years away.
How dare you speak trigonometry in here? What's parallax?
It's astronomy, not math.
I'm not speaking anything. I'm just watching my finger jump back and forth as I go from one eye to the other. There's no trig there.
Astronomy is math. Lots math.
It is, and so that's what we mean by parallax. It's just the apparent shift in something based on the angle you're looking at.
Although the parallax from, say, David and me, because we're on opposite sides of the country, of looking at the moon, would be kind of cool to maybe get a stereo vision of the moon,
Yeah, one does red and the other does blue.
Yeah.
Get the little red-green goggles on there.
Well, and this is how we're able to do parallax with our orbit around the sun for things that are really close to us, to measure their distance by using right triangles. Very simple geometry, but this is how we're able to find distance to pretty close objects, is by waiting to be on the other side of the sun and knowing what those angles are, looking at that object and seeing how things shift behind it. And we're able to actually measure those distance and get an idea of and use those as ways to reference other objects going on as well. So it's really cool how even some basic geometry is used with astronomy, and then things get a little crazy from there. Really crazy with calculus and Diffie-Q and all fun stuff. And then you hate yourself unless you love maths. And I like maths. I don't love maths. So. So we got about 3 minutes left. I don't know if Roy, are you pulling up the last image?
I am doing the Eastern now. I got about another 2 minutes on the image.
Okay, cool. And Michael, what are you up to besides playing on your computer? Are you playing Space Invaders again? Pew! Pew! I think he's muted. He is muted, so I'm just going to keep talking while he can't respond.
In chat, he said something about going outside because he wasn't sure what might be going on with the scope. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to go over to David to get our last view of the
raccoons.
There's some pretty cool little. I was looking at that crater that's got that bifurcation through the. It looks like a deer footprint there or something. It's actually Koning is the name of that crater. I'd never seen it before. This is right around Alphonsus and a few other craters, those large ones with the central peaks up there.
Right?
Arzatel's that center one. Yeah.
It looks like a snowman that got got shot in the head and is falling backwards.
The three major. The three major craters.
Isn't Alphonse the one that was Ranger 7 impacted in?
I think it might be. Yeah. That's that one. The center of the snowman is Alphonse.
Yeah. I remember seeing that on TV when I was a kid. They broadcasted it live as it went into the moon.
Oh, very cool. It's down there somewhere now, the wreckage.
Yep.
So here's a question for Thad from YouTube. Eric's actually been giving a lot of good questions, but I'm excited about this just because it's coming up soon. So is the galaxy where Doctor Who is from real? If so, can we get a real image of it, please? So is there a place where Gallifrey is?
Well, I mean, with the number of possible habitable planets that came out from the estimates from this past week, that's
I think it's possible.
Here's what you have to figure out. Possible. You need to figure out what the where the Time War lock is, the Nebula or whatever it is. You need to figure out what that's actually a picture of.
We should find out. So what I need to do, I'll do some research
Medusa Cascade.
And see if they've actually designated a real galaxy where this is supposed to be from, or a real area of the sky, some constellation that we can point things at, and we can go hunting for the Doctor.
You find the Medusa Cascade, and maybe we could backtrack to Gallifrey.
We could. So the VSP hunt for the Time War.
Oh, we got a spy on the phone.
Yeah, we gotta go. I've got a Dalek coming through. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
All right. So, Roy, I see you're pulling stuff up. Is it just finishing up the processing?
Yep. I'm not even going to stretch this one. I'm just going to take it as is.
Awesome. So I'm going to do a quick rapid of the comments to see if I missed anything going through. And some people were asking about Ison. I know Thad and I are looking at the weekend, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We're hopefully going to go out to the desert and image Ison.
Yeah, I got a call that my DSLR is fixed. So
nice.
I want to first of all try some stuff with getting Venus and the moon and whatnot with it. I've got to get a T adapter. But the thing is, if Ison is going to do anything like they say it's going to, you don't want to shoot it through a telescope. You want as wide a field of view as possible.
Right.
And again, and also a good bit of luck. Luck with the weather, luck with the comet surviving, luck with, there'll be a lot of luck with trying to get Ison.
I hope it survives, but I also hope it destroys itself, because I think it would be awesome to observe.
If it's bright enough, you should be able to shoot with the DSLR right on a tripod.
So,
just 15, 20-second exposures.
That's what I'm hoping to do, because I'll have my Find Pix with me, and I think it'll be fun. It'll be cold, especially if we're going to the Joshua Tree. Woo.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing, getting out there early enough to kind of scout around, and it's like, okay, where can we watch sunrise without a mountain blocking it or something? Because, I mean, it's going to be very low in the sky just before sunrise.
Right, and so for once we don't have to worry about light pollution, we just have to worry about the freaking mountains in the way.
Yeah.
Not one thing, it's another.
Bring enough TNT, low yield nuclear device.
Take care of it.
There we
go.
We're
scientists.
Yeah, landmass pollution.
Anywhere along the Atlantic, if you can get a nice eastern horizon there that's flat right along the ocean, that would be great.
Yeah, from Florida, because November to March over there, the skies can be really amazing. So
this is the best
time
of year.
Go for it, David.
Yeah, I might head over. I'm going over the Atlantic side for the Maven launch next week, but Ison will still be kind of faint then.
But Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, now if we could get Ison with the VAB. There would be that would be a heck of a shot.
You're planting an idea in my head.
All right, let's take a look here at Roy's image here, and we'll wrap it up. So we're looking at now the eastern veil. Wow, that's great. And this is another 300 seconds?
This is 180 seconds.
180 seconds.
180 second hydrogen alpha.
So like we were mentioning earlier, we're watching the other side of the supernova remnant, and this is just enormous. And what's your field of view that you're looking at? So how big of the sky does your...
Oh, great question.
Yeah, it is a good question. I don't have that off the top of my head.
What kind of professional are you, Roy?
I know it.
Jeez.
I bet it's about a degree.
I can tell you.
No, it's less than a degree. I can
tell you. All I have to do is load up my program here.
Between a half and a whole.
Yeah, something like that. It's less than mine.
So that's about what mine is.
Yeah, it's
Field of views. I am at. Where is it?
You're going to talk in arc minutes, aren't you?
Yes. 45 by 34 arc minutes.
Yeah, so it's about half a degree.
So that's a moon and a half by a moon.
Right. So looking at this, the size of the moon, and this is just one little part. This enormous object that's in the sky that happened, which occurred around 5,000 to 8,000 years ago, and has just been pushing out ever since. And it's beautiful. Have you, Roy, or actually anyone here, have you guys ever got the full part of the veil?
Corey has.
Was it the Cygnus loop?
Yeah, in order to get it, you really need to have just like a telephoto lens, like a 200 millimeter telephoto lens, because you need that. It's that big.
Right.
I tried a mosaic on it once about 10 months ago.
Yeah. The
first one I ever did, and it's not that easy.
What kind of in my bucket list of astronomy crap I want to get is a really nice L series 200 millimeter telephoto lens, so I can photograph stuff like this, the whole Cygnus loop.
Yeah, I know Gary has done some amazing, huge fields of view kind of shots. Right. I think he posted one the other day of Orion with Barnard's loop and most of Gemini and parts of Auriga and Taurus all in one shot.
His setup is ideal for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he has an enormous field of view. Well, we're running about 5 minutes past, so I'm turning into a pumpkin, or actually I have a lot of video editing to do. So for those who didn't know, Fraser and I were at YouTube Studios in LA this week, including Thad. Thad was there.
At least for one day.
You were there for one day, and we had fun. We were the weekly space hangout. David Dickinson was there by proxy via the internet, so that was fun. And yeah, so we have a lot of video editing to do. I think he got around 12 hours of raw footage that he needs to go through and create explainer videos out of. I'm glad that I had like an hour and a half to deal with, and that's enough for me. But he's got 12 hours, so. But he also did a lot of interviews. So thank you, everybody, for all your great questions, comments, the pleasant banter on YouTube. See, it's not the cesspool of evil that everyone's making it out to be.
Until you said that.
Yeah. And I will
you jinxed it now, man.
We've got a good audience, be honest. Right?
Yeah, we do. We have a really good audience.
Strictly above table, right?
You guys are awesome. Thank you for the questions in the Q&A app on the event page. And so, yeah, if you guys have any images that you take, please share them out on the event page. We'd love to showcase them here in the show. So let's go through our astronomers here. David, thank you for the shots of the moon.
Thank you. It was actually a nice night. No mosquitoes tonight.
Absolutely. And so where can people find you?
I am on Astro Guys with a Z across all platforms, and I'm usually writing for Universe Today, Listosaur, my own site, and profusely tweeting.
Profusely and unapologetically tweeting his face
Pretty
off.
much. All space, all the time.
Is Michael there?
I am, yes. I was leaving you with the California Nebula.
We'll put it back up. It's my home.
All right. Yes, that's right.
Let me see where I live.
Yeah. By the way, I'm a Panthers fan, so I apologize to all the Niners fans that live in California tonight.
Oh, you talking about hand egg again?
Yes, hand egg is my second sport. Yes, besides astronomy. So this is just the top portion here. I can't get the whole thing in, and my filter wheel was acting up. That's why I had to leave for a minute. And I found the hydrogen alpha filter, and the California Nebula popped up. So there you go.
Very good.
So this is Red Bluff and Eureka. And...
Yeah, right.
yeah. The funny thing is that the moon was directly shining on the scope, and it just happened to be pointed in this direction. So I said, all right, let's see what we can do with hydrogen alpha.
That's why God made hydrogen alpha filters.
That's right. It came out pretty good. This is only 2 minutes in a bin, 3x3 bin, so I can't complain,
that's nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Very good.
So.
Well, how about you, Mike? Let's see your face.
Yes, I got my camera working. Everything
Yay.
is good in the Phillips house now that my kids are asleep and my telescope is working. I can't complain.
And we're starting our shows earlier so you can play with us more often.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Roy. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, if you could put out that full uncropped image into the event page, that would be brilliant. I'd love to see what you did. That was awesome. So yes, and everyone out in the comments too, please tell us what Roy's homework is for the week. That would be awesome.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, and once you get your focuser back, that'll be great. Speaking of, Stuart.
Hi, thank you.
Dr. Foreman.
It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here, and but I hope to be back in the saddle within a couple of weeks. So we'll see.
We have to too. You got to represent the refracting group over here.
Yes, absolutely.
What kind of focuser do you have?
I've got a Starlight Express focuser. It's a very nice focuser. It just was sort of worn, and my fine focuser knob was slipping, and so I just sent it back. And they were just hideously busy over there. And they've been very nice and responsive. It's just that they just haven't been able to get to it until now. But it's done. They just need to ship it back.
That's how I am with your text messages to me. Like, I can't get back to this.
I love you too, Scott.
I miss you.
Yeah.
So Thad, thank you for jumping in. I know that you had some things going on locally, but I'm glad that you were able to join us.
So sure, yeah, no problem. I was actually doing a little bit of outreach in the front yard. Had the giant binocular set up, and people were stopping by, and so all right, well, let's go look at some stuff. And
that's very cool.
That's right. You can do astronomy in Long Beach.
Yes,
it is possible.
Yes.
No excuses, light polluted people. We can do it here. Just
next week I think I'll be able to get Jupiter. I think I see it way down in the trees, kind of trying to. I think it will be clear of the trees by next week.
Cool. That'll be great. Tom, thank you, sir.
Oh, glad to be here.
Get rid of your clouds and join us sometime.
I wish. My little hairdryer using my telescope just isn't powerful enough.
Well, talk to David. He's the master when it comes to hair drying at VSP.
I read an article in Sky and Telescope said you're not supposed to use a hairdryer on your telescope, but it works.
Really?
Well,
everybody does it. Everybody.
I know. Who hasn't?
Well, it's because they love the 80s style and with the flyaways going on. Like, they
were saying to heat the mirror evenly, you should use a heat gun, but I'd be like, that would take the entire VSP to get the moisture off.
God, really?
Very slow.
That just sounds a little scary too, because heat gun can concentrate heat so well. What if you end up,
breaking your corrector plate?
Yeah. That's.
You get one of those bonnet style hair dryers. It covers the entire head.
I think they were saying with the hair dryer it would heat the mirror too quickly, and that I don't think it would crack it, but it would cause turbulence. Like it would
warp and.
Yeah,
and not like you just gotta have a steady hand, like a hairdresser. You just gotta go around and circles.
Just become an esthetician, and you'll know how to
shave it off.
All right, we're done here. All right,
okay, guys.
Thank you all for watching. We will be back next week with another virtual star party. I don't know if Fraser's doing Astronomy Cast tomorrow. We will be having a weekly space hangout on Friday, virtual star party again on Sunday, and then really cool news, Maven's launching on the next following Monday. Yay, Maven! Yes. Can't wait for that. So that's going to be it's planned for 1:30 Eastern, which is what, 10:30 Pacific.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I know the Planetary's doing a live broadcast of it. It's going to be on NASA TV. So even though the government shut down, we're still launching Maven on time, which is awesome. So look for that in the news. And so, I'm Scott Lewis. I am Bald Astronomer from the Cosmos, Star Party, All the World. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Have a good night.
they're probably down by now. I'm not tracking it anymore, but they probably re-entered they probably landed out in Kazakhstan just a few hours ago, or a few minutes ago.
So welcome back, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one with the torch, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Olympic torch is coming back.
Yeah.
It's Luca Parmitano, Karen Nyberg, and I don't know the Russian cosmonaut's name off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me right now, but
why not? You're supposed to be prepared, David, for anything.
Well, Karen Nyberg is the first quilter in space that I'm aware of.
Yes.
I was going to go for that. I was going to be the first quilter in space.
You can be the first needle pointer.
I am saying I can cross stitch. Let's
Yes,
cross stitch
yes.
in space. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna move on over to Roy real quick, and we'll hit the moon throughout the rest of the night. So, what do we have here today, Roy?
You have M57, the Ring Nebula, in all its beautiful color.
She's so pretty.
Yes.
What camera are you using, Roy?
I am using my STT 8300. It's a monochrome, but I have figured out how to do the automated tricolor imaging within my software. So yeah, I take one. These were individual 120-second images that automatically got stacked.
Oh, using what software?
Maxim.
Oh, okay.
You need to post how you do that.
What's that?
You need to post how you do that. I have a ST8 camera with a filter wheel on it, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do the auto stacking.
Oh yeah, it's just one-click button in Maxim. It just, when you take the picture, it'll automatically take the red, the green, the blue, combine them together, and give you a color picture.
What you're able to do across the world as we're going. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will be watching for comments because it looks like there's a ton of comments going on. David, what are we looking at?
That is the waxing gibbous moon. It just passed first quarter yesterday, and it's actually, we got a nice profile with the lunar highlands and the lunar Apennines, and you can see a lot of good profile with craters and stuff like that. Incidentally, this is a Microsoft Live Cam webcam, just afocally aimed at the telescope eyepiece. It's not hooked directly into the telescope. I'll switch over to the webcam on the laptop probably in a bit so you can actually see the setup here. But I was just experimenting with this tonight.
It's a lot of fun, that cam, for doing an afocal setup.
I'm surprised the image it gives. I mean, it's got a little bit of a glare on it there. I put a polarizer on the end of the eyepiece because I realized I don't have the webcam controls here in Google+, so I can't dim the camera or do any of the things I could if I had just the camera software running.
Are you running on PC or Windows
PC.
or Mac?
It's a PC.
Okay, there is, if you can get the LifeCam software, and it will run concurrently with the Google Plus Hangout, and you can change all your settings live as you're doing it. And that's,
because I can do that with my other webcam that I'm going to hook up here in a moment, that I zoom in because I keep the software running, so I can.
Yeah.
What I did, since I didn't have time starting this to fiddle with it, I just plopped a polarizer. I got a variable polarizer on the end of it to kind of dim it down. To cut the glare, but right now it's fixed. I can't zoom it in or anything. But there's a little bit of cloud cover here too. That's what I think giving that little bit of glare on the limb of the moon there too. And we've got moisture and fog, and it's just Florida.
Yeah, I was saying you're in Florida.
It's crappy for astronomy here. That's
why
you
might as well just put it underwater and just shoot it.
That's why there's no major observatories here. There's a few at the universities, but it's a terrible place to do astronomy.
Well, and also I want to mention.
Roy?
Well, I'm using my RC tonight.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my refractor up on my other mount yet.
Oh.
See what you're making us do? We're going through refractor withdrawals.
Yeah, well, I think Roy's going to have to explain what an RC is, though. So.
I think we can do that.
It.
Yeah.
That's fine. Also with us today, Tom. How you doing, Tom? We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, it's the first chance I've had to be back online for a while. I usually hang out in the peanut gallery, but my upload speeds have been slow.
Okay. Well, we'll figure something else to do about that. You know, whether doing some still images or something like that in the future. But it's good to have you back.
Hand gestures.
We are definitely known for our hand gestures here at the VSP, and they are G-rated, people.
Yes.
They are G-rated.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Nicole does the. Oops, sorry.
no, yeah, Nicole does the flocculants. So do I, though. But
Yeah.
that's when we're talking about galaxies, and we'll get to those a little bit later. So for everything going on, I'm going to let you all know, our viewers, how you can get a hold of us. So the easiest way for me to hear from you is to be on YouTube. So we are broadcast live not only on Google+, but on YouTube. So please feel free to give a comment and subscribe to the channel, which is me. And we're working on getting everything transitioned. Also subscribe to Universe Today, which is Fraser Kane's channel. So we're either going to be live from my channel or from Fraser's as we go week to week to week. And we've been having a lot of fun with YouTube lately. So please comment on YouTube, also in the event page on Google+. Also, if you do have your own astrophotography you want to share with us during the show, please do. You can do that actually in the event page on Google+. Make sure it's your own, though, because if it's not, I will remove it because I'm a jerk like that. So, but we want to see what you're doing because it's really awesome to be able to work with the astronomers here live in the show and also see. And real quick, too, we are using the Q&A app on Google+, too. So that is another way that you can ask questions. I will try to get to them. And actually, there is one right here that we do want to address before we go further because David actually talked about it on Friday. And it goes, let me see if I can select it and pop it up here.
Gochi, let me guess.
Gochi, yep. Where is the satellite? I was hoping to hear from them.
We were tracking it earlier tonight. There was a pass over the U.S., a shadow pass. Unfortunately, everybody I heard that was watching didn't see a re-entry then. It may be down already. I think it's already down. ESA hasn't confirmed it yet. NORAD hasn't confirmed it. I was watching on SpaceTrack and refreshing on SpaceTrack to see if NORAD sent out a confirmation decay message, but in all likelihood it's re-entered. It may be a day or two before we know exactly where.
Right.
Unless there's something that pops up where somebody says that some video footage surfaces or anything like that. But
I know where it's not.
Well, a lot of the Earth is just uninhabited, so these re-entering satellites, a lot of times they just splash down where nobody sees them. But it's once they stop, it was tracking data right up until re-entry too. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
See, no one knows except for the NSA. The NSA always.
Yeah, well, they know, of course. But yeah, in things you see around Twitter, we were starting to see, like, if you see old mirror footage or scenes from Armageddon or scenes from the Chelyabinsk meteor, people always start tweeting out stuff like that during these re-entries, and it's like, we obviously know they're fake because we've all seen those photos before.
Yeah, this is not our first rodeo with re-entries, so please stop putting Bruce Willis all over Twitter. It's not going to help. And there was another re-entry going on, so let's get both of these going for the
Soyuz.
multiple comments everywhere. So yes, what else is going on?
Soyuz is coming home too. The population in space is decreasing by 3 tonight, from 9 down to 6. So there's expedition crew members.
And now it's saying that the broadcast is live. I think it was delayed. So I'm going to introduce myself again, and if not, you get twice the introduction because I like talking to myself. So hi everyone. Welcome to your virtual star party for the 10th of November 2013. I'm your host, Scott Lewis. Fraser is playing Dad for a birthday now that he's back in Canada. So if you've never seen our show before, what we do is we hook up telescopes and we stream their views live onto the internet for free to let the entire world know what's going on in the universe. And YouTube's live. Hi, YouTube. I'm hearing myself.
Yay.
So we have two telescopes today, or tonight, or it could be today, depending on where you're at. And I hear no loud noises from Stuart.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
I'm going to mute
I dropped my mouse. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Shut up. So with us tonight, David Dickinson from Florida. How you doing, David?
Hey, pretty good. I'll be bringing the moon.
Bringing the moon with 2 cameras.
Yeah, wide and zoomed in this time. So
sweet.
I'll switch over to it.
For some further away objects, we have Roy Salisbury. How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. For the peanut gallery, color commentary, we have Stuart Foreman from the San Francisco area.
Hi.
So, Stu, I hear we might actually have you back to where we don't have to see your face anymore, right?
Hopefully, yeah, because I'm pretty ugly. But yeah, hopefully within 2 weeks I'll be back online again.
Awesome.
So we'll see. Because I know people have been really screaming for me. My focuser's been out, so it's in
people just won't shut up about
I know,
you.
I know.
They want more Foreman.
Yeah, I know. What can I say?
Well, you gotta represent the refractors.
Exactly. Well, we got a refractor here now, so.
Yeah.